Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the paper's Punch. What's the story?
Yes, I have a story in the Punch. Let me quickly get to it.
Dollar supply.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
Dollar supply has risen by 180%. They said the banks, I know I've been taking the story since Thursday and Friday. I was thinking there will be more crash to the price, like we're going to
go back to 900.
Appreciate, maybe like, yeah, maybe like even 1-2. But right now, or as at the last, the account they had Friday, it's closed at 1,420 to $1. They said that the Naira traded intra-bank, the lowest was 838, but in most cases, the highest they've had last week was 1,526. So the 1,420 is an improvement to an extent, even though the banks had to sell $440 million. They said that that this is based on the ultimatum that was given. I know I took that story mentioning the fact that it was compulsory for the banks to sell, and so banks are selling. The side effect is if you are trying to change your saving money in dollar and changing your money to dollar right now, and you put it in the bank, you probably won't have access to it when you want to withdraw it because the banks have only 20% of what the customers have deposited. That's what they can hold per time. We have not found a solution to the dollar crisis, obviously.
The real lasting solution really is production.
Yeah, that's it.
So eventually, but these are just
an exportation. We produce and we export. Yeah. We reduce the importation.
$10 the right way.
That's it. So in a bid to secure schools and school children, the National Safe School Response Coordination Center at the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps said vigilantes and teachers from surveyed 821,000 primary and secondary schools across the country will be trained on security. The NSSRCC, which was established by the federal government, is the one saddled with the responsibility of coordinating safety and security responses against violence on schools and host communities. So the personnel of the NSCDC and other security agencies have said that they have undergone specialized training, and they have been deployed to various schools and communities for proper engagement, which is largely centered on prevention and then protection. And they talked about how bandits have been going to schools to kidnap, children, citing the case of the one that happened in Ekiti. So the commander of the NSSRCC, Hamed Aboduri, was in an interview saying that different stakeholders, including teachers, private security guards, vigilantes, and local hunters, will be trained at state level to help tackle the rising insecurity in the country. And also, after that training, they will still go back to their communities and schools and train the remaining people. And they had to, pick the number of the schools they'll be going around for this training, which is 821,000. And I'm wondering if after the training, they will also be equipped with probably guns, and because, when these bandits come, it's not karate that will stop them because they come with high-level ammunition. So will the training also require that these people will have a form of ammunition to protect themselves? Nobody wants to be fighting carrots when they're shooting gun.
Okay, so
anyway, I have this story. So they say operatives from the Okoko Divisional Police Headquarters on Saturday arrested 2 men at the Afro Media area alleged to be conveying some cartons of expired drugs. They said they had 70 cartons of feed-fine cyprofetadine caplets, 4 grams, all with the expiry date of 2016. They said that they were taking these drugs to Alaba, where they would change the expiry date. Then thereafter, they were going to send it to Port Harcourt, where they would be sold to people to consume. There are 2 of them that were arrested. This was the Augustine Agemoye, a male, age 60, and Innocent Eremosele, 35 years old. They say that NAFDAC had also arraigned 2 businessmen over the alleged sale and distribution of fake and unregistered pharmaceutical products. Those particular suspects own pharmaceutical stores in Onitsha, and, they would sell fake Ampiclox capsules, Christine, 500 milligram amoxil, artesunate, and other capsules, fake, and they will put them in their own pharmaceutical stores and sell them. So again, we need to be
the
careful. Yes, we the people, but also for the rest of us who are not wicked people and, you know, are vulnerable to these antics. We've heard the drugs that have the code on them. Let's just, let's endeavor that we use those scans, and then let's make sure we go to proper pharmacies and stores to get our drugs.
Okay, so our president extended his condolences to the government of Namibia after the passing of the 82-year-old President Geingob. He died on Sunday early hours by his next to his wife, who was actually there with her, Madam Monica Geingob, and their children. So he was serving his second term, and he had actually revealed to the Namibians that he's treating cancer. So this was his second term, and he passed on. So many countries have extended their condolences, including our former president, Obasanjo, too, has extended and regarded the man as a veteran for democracy, same as our president, that is a veteran in the struggle for democracy across Africa, and it will be sorely missed. Moving on now to Daily Sun very quickly. Electricity outages at airports, fan under fire. Edo Guba PDP ward congresses, free, fair, credible, says Governor Mba. Name terror sponsors laundering money, SCSN challenges EFCC. Insecurity, 2 Catholic priests kidnapped in Jos, reps Mall State Police. It's too early to judge democracy in Africa, says Kuka. Abductors of Kwara monarch's wife demand 100 million naira ransom. And NDLA intercepts 14.5 tons of Ghanaian cannabis linked to a wanted drug baron in Lagos.
Okay, let me jump ahead there. So, power shut down on the 2nd of February 2024, and it lasted about 3 minutes at the Lagos International Airport. Experts, aviation experts, customers, everybody, the backlash was huge on Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAN, because the expectation is that in the minimum, there will be some light bulbs within the airport, like there was total blackout. There was no lights. People had to switch to their mobile phones to be able to see anything. The excuse given by the what excuse seems judgmental, so, but what the reason FAN gave was that they were trying to switch from the power outage from the national grid to their generator, and that took a while. And most of the experts were saying that every passenger that flies through Nigerian airports pays $100 for using the airport. In the minimum, they would expect that there would not be power outage. And if there will be power outage, there should be lights within the area that is triggered when power goes off. But that did not, the backup light was not there. This is not the first time we're having power outage on the, at least specifically on the internet. There was, on April 1st, 2023, there was outage that happened as well. Another one happened in June 2022 that led to an Abuja to Benin flight to turn back to Abuja because the pilots could not land. These disruptions are not normal, and the aviation sector needs work. Another minister that my eyes are on, that I'm expecting will do a very good job. On my watch list is Festus Keyamo, because his appointment came with a lot of controversy because he felt like he was not an expert in the field. And the responsibility is on him to show that even though he's not an expert, he can still do the job. He can still handle, but this is not looking good for you, sir. You know.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll see. Moving on. I didn't want to say something that came to mind, but let me just move on.
NDLA.
Go ahead.
They have intercepted a large consignment of Ghanaian loud, a strong strain of cannabis sativa smuggled into Lagos from Ghana. It was loaded in 2 trucks, and it had a total weight of 14,524.8 kilograms. Can you imagine? There were 3 vehicles conveying these jumbo bags of psychoactive substances. They were trailed and intercepted at Ojo Elegba in my neighborhood in the early hours of Sunday. Can you imagine? Okay, this was 28th of January. They said that in the process of blocking the vehicles, 2 of the drivers jumped off while the car was in motion. And the 3rd driver, who works with a wanted drug baron. He's called Suleiman Jimo alias Olowo, also known as Temo. And they said that, the NDLA for the last 3 years have been onto him. He has made shipments of the same substance worth billions of naira, And then other stories also of NDA intercepting drug activities all around the country.
Okay, Vanguard, let's find a story we've not taken. Brain drain, over 500 workers left National Hospital in 2 years, says CMD. 723 schools closed in 9 states over insecurity and others, says UNICEF. Blackout, power grid collapses again. 8,100 naira levy. Students in Lagos schools may miss WASI registration. And driver killed as abducted Ekiti pupils. Teachers regain freedom. Okay, which story?
Let's talk about Lagos State and why some students may likely miss their WAEC, free WAEC registration. So they said some of the parents are not able to pay the 8,100 naira levy. And because of that, their children may miss the registration. Now, Lagos State actually pays for WAEC for their students. But then if you're in the informal sector, you are expected as a parent to pay 8,100 as a levy. But if you're in the formal sector, because you're working and you're already paying your tax, you're just meant to submit your tax clearance, and that clears your child to access that free WAEC registration. Now, the problem is that many of the parents in the informal sector are struggling to pay that 8,100. But, you know, they are saying that there's nothing they can do about it. Lagos State has already carried the burden for most of these parents, and that 8,100 is just like 650 naira a day. They should plan for it and make sure they pay. However, the examination has been moved to February 24th, and this one is you know, the way they do it is West African. It's not within Lagos State power to, you know, extend it or not. So the exams must happen from March, and registration must close by February 24th. So I'm wondering how these people can be helped to find that amount of money. Paying the WAEC has been lifted from them already. So 8,100.
Philanthropy should support.
Yeah,
the longer is not a movement. Any other? We have to go. Any other story very quickly? The brain drain. Nobody took that story.
Yes, 500 workers have left the personnel of the hospital. That's coming from the CMD of the Abuja National Hospital. Professor Mahmood Raji on Sunday disclosed that over 500 personnel have resigned in the last
from his own hospital.
Years. From his own, that's the National Hospital Abuja has lost 500 personnel in 2 years. It is worrisome.
No, that one is vague. That's depressing. Don't finish. You're like, that's
game over. State of emergency.
Game over.
State of emergency. That Nigerians are losing so much painfully, and that the loss of number is occurring within senior doctors, especially the middle cadre doctors and the very young ones. So it's probably the really old ones that are there, and they can't do as much work as the young ones or the middle level ones. So nurses are left to do most of the care, and even some of the nurses are leaving. Medical engineers are also going, which means equipment are not getting fixed when they go bad. State of emergency in our plenty areas of our
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.